And we're back. It's WICR Radio. It's currently 5:30. Another week in sports episode 5. Thank you for joining us. And we continue our discussion on the NBA playoffs, including some MLB talk about the Mets and our hometown Yankees. So, to continue with the playoffs, let's discuss the Clippers and Golden State matchup. Game 2 is tonight, 10:30. First game saw that Golden State easily got away with a nice win against the Clippers, but it did cost Kevin Durant as he did leave with a technical foul. So, how do you think that will impact tonight's game? Does KD need to watch out with his behavior, or does he can he just go at it with Patrick Beverly all game all game?
Yo, you can go at it. That's competition, right?
Absolutely.
Like, for real. And I mean, he's one of the best, right?
No, I mean Kevin Durant. Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I was like Patrick Beverly.
no, but you know what I mean. But I mean, I think it's a bigger task for Patrick Beverly because I know Kevin Durant can just, if he really wants to, can just take over the game.
But Kevin Durant is the same person who writes to people on his burner accounts and goes at fans one on one to talk about why do you have a beef with the way I play. So I mean, to think that he's gonna go, a whole night or the rest of the series without letting Patrick Beverly in his head as clearly as he did game one, I think it's kind of tough.
Or the beautiful things he says about refs.
Exactly. But Kevin Durant played a good game so far statistically. Steph Curry had a good game as well.
Steph Curry had a monster game.
Talk about it, Kev. Speak on it.
38 points on what?
I mean, you're
11 for 16 shooting, 8 for 12 from 3, 15 rebounds.
Rare. That's Rondo-esque.
Yeah, didn't he just set the record for threes too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I mean, like he set like the all-time record for threes.
Yeah,
or something
like playoff
that.
threes?
Yeah, something.
Oh, okay. I was about to say like he already
yeah.
beat Reggie and like Ray. That's crazy.
Probably.
I think he's just beating his records now.
At this rate, yeah.
Look at the most 3-point shots in the season.
Mhm.
I think like 5 out of the top 7, Steph Curry.
Yep. But the Clippers are really just outmatched, and we're probably going to see a 4-0 here. I don't think the Warriors are going to drop.
Absolutely, I don't think either. But another major upset was Denver losing to the Spurs.
Right. If you asked me personally, I was calling that game, so I don't necessarily think that was an upset. But was it at home or was it away?
I mean, it was Denver, so it was Denver Nuggets.
Oh, okay.
So the Spurs were away.
Okay.
So in a way,
so
was an upset.
I could see. I see.
Just because based off a home court
advantage,
like on a game one scenario, I don't think it's an upset based on the fact that if you look at the coaches,
right, exactly.
Popovich is clearly the superior coach, and even the Denver Nuggets coach will tell you like Pop is the father at this, the guru, as you will. So
he just got a record as well, actually, didn't he? Most wins
in the playoffs,
in general. I think.
I mean, I won't be surprised.
Most wins as an NBA coach.
But
I could see the Spurs taking game 2.
How many games do you see the series in general?
That's a hard one. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch much of the Nuggets this year.
I feel like Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6.
Yeah,
I don't like the Nuggets.
You don't like the Nuggets?
No.
just personally,
I
or
just don't think I just don't think they're gonna come up clutch.
Got you. I understand. Nah, it's totally.
The thing is though, last game they lost, and Jokic didn't have a particularly good game in terms of scoring. Everything else was
I mean, his assists and rebounds were pretty solid.
And we know what he can do. So if he decides to, do what he does,
exactly,
and they don't have the Spurs don't have a plan for him.
Speak on that.
I could definitely see Denver.
Absolutely,
Denver winning,
as well as Boston got off to a great start as they beat the Pacers expectedly by 10 points. Kyrie Irving had a good game. Box score shows us that Gordon Hayward could be way better, but it's totally fine as they pay him so much money to be a basic 6-man. But Horford shot 4 for 10. It's painful. Kyrie Irving shot 6 for 17 with 20 points. Horford 10 points. Jeez. Baines 2.
Very low scoring.
Very low scoring game.
I think that's Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana plays very efficient. I mean, they were getting to the boards and causing a lot of turnovers earlier in the game. I mean, second quarter was a lot closer than the second half, but it's totally fine.
But what about tonight? What do we think? Nets 76ers. What are we going to see here?
I'm saying Nets. I still think the Nets because Embiid's injured for one. And
he's not playing, correct?
I mean, I hope he doesn't play, but Jalen Rose and a lot other analysts in general were saying he just shouldn't play.
But they're keeping it under wraps, like
of
so
course.
They can't plan against him.
Of course, but like
injury prone too.
Exactly,
that's the issue.
But like if you look at it, if Embiid's not on the floor and JJ Redick gets into foul trouble again, it's just Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons basically ball hogging and trying to figure out who's going to score on every given possession versus the Nets, who are very
versatile, scoring from anywhere.
Exactly. They
76ers is very easy to plan against.
Exactly.
They have to have everybody healthy.
Exactly. I mean, in general, I would say that they very much rely on Joel Embiid, and that's not a problem because he is a very versatile scorer and a great defender. However, off of one leg, he's not the same person.
For a big dude too, yeah.
And especially with the last game, the Nets just kept on penetrating the paint and got every type of lay-in they wanted. And if they drove and the Sixers then tried to cluster the paint, they just kicked out to anybody who was available.
I got a question. What do you think about the Embiid checking his phone right after the?
Well, that wasn't Embiid, but he did look at it with Amir Johnson,
right.
And
but you know what I mean. Do you think that he should have kept it in the locker room?
Well, Amir Johnson definitely should have, but I heard.
But apparently, Amir Johnson was claiming that he was receiving news about his ill daughter who was at the hospital, so he was trying to get further notice on her condition. And the Sixers then replied saying, even if that was the case, it was still highly unprofessional to do that during a playoff game, especially on camera, to be seen like that.
But Doris Burke, I wasn't very happy about because she
roasted him.
No, she said that they laughed. That was the initial report was that they were laughing, but then you watch the video.
I didn't watch the video.
You watch the video, and they just look up stone face.
Yeah, if you watch the video, it just looks like two guys both reading a text and being like, "Oh, copy." Like, all right.
What I heard was it was like they were looking at the phone.
As if they saw a meme or something. No,
that's not a professional.
No, which if that was the case, totally understandable. I mean, it's the same. It goes along with the same lines of like LeBron throwing the bottle on the court and just goofing around playing the Knicks. You should still take the game seriously no matter how far the game is out of hand.
Yeah, it was like this season was the Giants with Eli Apple, the cornerback they traded. He was out one game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was tweeting during the game. And they lost it. And I'm like, they have every reason to lose it. You shouldn't be tweeting on the sideline when you're hurt.
Exactly. And in any way, you could still help your teammates with just being that extra eye on the field. Notice the different types of coverages. Notice what these guys are doing with your regular matchup and just assist on the sideline.
So that's what I am.
But Amir Johnson was inactive either way during that game. So, I don't know why he suited up. If anything, I would have expected him to just be in a suit and in the second row, behind the bench, where usually most inactive players are. But unfortunately, he did get caught on his phone, like most of us do in class. However, Portland did not get caught slipping, as they were able to win 104-99 against OKC. A lot of analysts and NBA followers believe that Portland could drop this series and that OKC could easily beat them with Russell Westbrook and Paul George at the helm. But the matchup did, it was a close game last night, a 5-point differential. Paul George 8 for 24 with 26 points. Not the best shooting night. 4 from 15 from 3.
And still contributed.
And Westbrook, 38 minutes played, 8 for 17. He got 24 points, 10 assists. So he got a double-double. Oh, and 10 rebounds, so triple-double. Nice. Not bad.
Of course. Last 3 seasons, he's been averaging.
Regular.
Yeah, it's regular.
Of course. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about Dame. Speak on it, Dame. 9 for 21, 30 points. 5 from 11 from 3-point town.
I think for the Trailblazers to win this series, though, they're going to need Cantor or at least somebody off the bench to play the same way he did night in, night out.
Yeah, absolutely. After they lost, what was it, Nurkic to the shin injury.
Yeah.
That was painful.
Yeah, that was.
Against the Nets 2 weeks ago. Dreadful. God bless.
But yeah, CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. We saw that for the past 3 playoff runs. That every time they would come in as a 7th seed and they look promising as its dual scorers, they definitely can't do it on both ends of the floor. Or at least they can't keep up consistently. But they got game 1, and that's the most important thing. But tonight.
Nets in 5.
You're calling Nets in 5?
Yeah.
You're saying that, all right, so we're getting the W tonight. We're getting a W back in Brooklyn. We're going to lose 1 in Brooklyn. And then we're going to get another one in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that would be poetic.
That'd be poetic justice. Poetic justice. Poetic justice.
I think OKC's too reliant on Paul George, though. I think without Paul George,
Well, absolutely. I mean, they're gonna
Yeah.
need Paul George to like score 40,
Paul
Yeah,
George
for
was third best in the NBA this year.
and they're gonna need Russell Westbrook to not turn the ball over. But that that is the high risk, high reward. But on that note, 7:00 Eastern time, Mets first pitch against the Philadelphia Phillies. Mets are currently 9-6. Not the hottest start as last season. We started off, I think, like 12-0. But then that clearly dropped off by the All-Star break as we were last in our division. Starting off these first 15 games. What are my expectations as a Mets fan? We will be last place by All-Star again.
I don't think so.
If not, we're right next to the
You're
Marlins.
middle of the pack this year.
Right next to the Marlins. But I don't see us doing anything major. If anything, I find us taking on more contracts that we can't pay for and trading away good prospects that within 5 years' time will be all-stars for another team. Although on the contrary, the Yankees are 6-9, and although they're not off to a hot start, they do look promising. A lot of prospects have come up in the early part of the season. A lot of guys hitting homers. A lot of guys making an impact, making their presence felt. Augie, how do you feel that the Yankees are going to do this season? And do you feel like the expectations are high, or have they dropped off because last year was
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it would have been a completely different story had they signed Bryce Harper.
Absolutely.
If they signed Bryce Harper
or Manny Machado,
it would have been World Series or bust.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think by not staying away from that big free agent pool, I mean, yeah, we have what's his name?
I mean, you do have Paxton from Seattle.
What's his name? The guy,
Stanton.
Yeah, Stanton with the $280 million.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, you still have a big, heavy contracts.
So
and you have contracts in general, but
because it's the Yankees,
of course.
But I think the Yankees
high budget, baby.
I think the Yankees would be a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
But I think if they make the playoffs, they can.
And are we jacking that playoffs are wild card that one game, or are we jacking that they win the wild card and
win
then,
the wild card? At least. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I feel you.
I think look good, but like
the AL East is tough. I mean, Boston is reigning champs. And,
yeah, but Boston's Boston,
of course. But they also compete with the Yankees in regards to salary. So for whatever star player the Yankees get, Boston seems to match up with either 2 stars or 2-star pitchers.
It's been like this for 30 years.
Of course. I mean, since Babe Ruth, since Clemens, since all that.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the Phillies.
Okay. And do you feel like they're a nicer pick this season with the addition of Bryce Harper?
Well, yeah. I mean, Bryce Harper's just
he sweetens the deal.
Yeah, for real. But
Aaron Nola was pretty good with them last year.
But I mean, he had what, like 6 homers in the first 9 games or whatever.
Harper
right?
So far,
yeah, right. He's just been on top, and I think he brings an energy to a team that players feed off of. And I think that's half the battle.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot of capable bats in that lineup. Asdrubal Herrera is pretty solid as a second hitter.
But I think the Yankees are well balanced, and I think that's big.
No, absolutely. I mean, so far, James Paxton, the latest pickup from Seattle, getting off to a rough start, but he was able to, manage his outing against Baltimore somewhat decently.
We got another 150 games.
So I mean, of course. I mean, like, it's only April, first 15 games of the season. Happy Jackie Robinson Day today, guys.
Happy Tax Day.
Happy Tax Day as well. Get your refunds in.
But no, I mean, I think it's going to be a good MLB season. I mean, I like the MLB because it's such an awesome season in the sense that it's always there's no team that's just number one.
Oh yeah,
from day one
exactly
to the end. And I think that's
even if they are by playoff time, they teeter off and
right.
They get knocked out in the first round.
So all of a sudden it starts to. I think the MLB. The nature of it's cool because there's so many games. There's so many games.
There's so many opportunities for storylines. Mm-hmm. For guys to have a great outing against a rival team, or they get hit by a pitch in one game last season, but then they hit a walk-off home run the next matchup. So a lot of storylines to keep up with. But as a Mets fan, I think the number one storyline to stay with is that we will probably not be playoff contenders this season. But I do think we should pay attention to our prospects. Alonso has gotten off to a great start, got a couple doubles. Ahmed Rosario, I'm hoping that he's an efficient starter at shortstop and that he could be an everyday guy. I mean, he was with us last season and did decent, but I would like to see him at least, get a batting average of like 290 or 310.
I think you guys just got to worry about the injury bug.
You
guys were in the World Series in 16?
Yeah, 2016.
And then it was just injuries that derailed.
Yeah, injuries and just I think a lack of team chemistry. I think guys like Harvey, they start to get way too big headed and think like, oh, I'm an elite pitcher, but your arm is just blown out. So I don't know how you're gonna be an elite pitcher if you can't even work your mechanics right.
Syndergaard was clutch.
Syndergaard's been clutch so far. We were able to get DeGrom on arbitration, so I mean, it's not ideal, but we're still going to end up doing 1-year deals with him for the next.
He's your Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, we're going to just keep on giving him franchise tags, basically.
Yeah, for real, but who knows?
But I mean, hey, it's the Mets' way of saving money, and if that's what we need to do, we need to do.
Look at the Yankees. Was it 2 or 3 years ago with the Judge breakout? The Yankees weren't too hot, and all of a sudden this rookie kid comes and hits a home run every other game.
Him and Gary Sanchez towards the end of that August.
You don't know who might break out in the next 10 games.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the big key. Even when we made it to the World Series, that season was very Cinderella-esque.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good storylines, and we had a lot of players come in and out of AAA. So
it's too early.
It's only the first 15 games. So
let's see next fall. We'll see if our predictions hold.
Absolutely. Let's even see next week on another week in sports. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been great. I'm DJ Double Cup. We got DJ Kev in the building.
Of course.
DJ Augie.
DJ Augie made it with us, and we are out. Enjoy.
Have a good week.